Wagwan everyone. I hope you can hear me, it's fucking windy. Man's out here doing the Wim Hof breathing. Oh, I thought the Matrix stopped. Right, here we're going to be talking about, I made a video where I was like, oh, maybe I did lose the plot, maybe I was crazy after all. Quick update on that. So, man's out here doing that breath work, Wim Hof method. Check that out. Anyway, in summary, basically, here's what we got. Basically, the way I was going about it was not correct. It's ever evolving, and the idea that you have simply found Mr. Traumatic or someone and now you're awake and everyone else is asleep is not the case. There's many nuances to it. It's not simply Babylon's evil, back to the garden, everything's poison, everyone be fearful of the food. It's not like that. Basically, what I'm saying is my ideas, I don't really disagree with a lot of what I said, but a lot of it has evolved and matured. It's very common when you first break into the field of psychedelics, like, just because you break into this rabbit hole of information and you have political awakenings or spiritual awakenings, mystical experiences, it doesn't mean you've cracked the code completely. And that's basically what I'm getting at. So it's much more nuanced, so just be careful. I was subscribed to, I watched a lot of Conor Murphy while on psychedelics. I was doing mushrooms every 2 weeks, nearly, for over a year. And it's just, like, you can become ungrounded. Reality is ultimately groundless, sure, but that's not what I want. I want to build the dream I want to build. So it's like, I'm focusing a lot more on, like, I was preaching so much shit, and I still am, but, like, what good is preaching all this shit when I don't embody most of it? Like, I've been on YouTube for over a year. My main channel is down at the minute because I've been getting strikes from YouTube, which will be no more into the future because I'll be more careful of how I speak on things, as I did kind of fall into an ideology, and the ideology is, like I say, like, Babylon is simply evil, and it is as simple as going back to the garden where we belong, because Babylon's built on blood. And I mean, I get it. So yeah, I was subscribed to, like, Conor Murphy's ideas, like, very heavily, and I was watching Conor Murphy a lot on psychedelics, Actualize.org a lot on psychedelics, which is a weird, like, okay, so if you want to understand where I'm coming from, I'll leave links in the description. The first link will be Leo Gura, aka Actualize.org, on the phone with Conor Murphy. I was in a much more Conor Murphy paradigm, and this is basically a conversation where Leo is trying to explain to Conor Murphy that there's value in being grounded, and it depends. Like, you can be purely metaphysical, like Ramana Maharshi, who just sat in a cave and didn't exercise ever and just said, I am that I am, and just his body just decayed and he was like, I'm not the body. That's why people would be worried, and all of the worry about me is ultimately ego, but I've decided to ground myself more in ego with more of an Leo Gura approach. You don't just blast off into metaphysical hyperspace and just say, oh, nothing matters, everyone's worried about me, when it's all just ego, nothing matters anyway. Which is true, ultimately. Oh, don't come this way, you dickhead. I can't speak when there's people around. Go the other way. Alright, one sec. For example, like, my ideas about, like, the food being poison, this is one of the main, like, you gotta be careful, because, like, yes, most of Western food is super heavily polluted, and I do wish that people were more educated about this, because people have no idea. Like, when I speak on it, people, like, for example, there was this kid who was relevant to me in the past. I saw him on the streets. He's probably like 10, 11 years old. He was eating from fast food, and I was like, you don't really want to eat that shit. Like, you can if you want. There's no obligation, but you want to, like, you know, you got this one life, conventionally speaking, so why would you throw it away with eating Domino's pizza? Because obviously this will destroy your health. And he's like, oh, I'm skinny as fuck. I'm so skinny, it doesn't even matter. And it's like, it's not about, people think health is muscle or the lack of fat. That's not the case. Like, bodybuilders have the nastiest guts sometimes, because of like the protein shakes and the fucking excessive eating. Again, Conor Murphy has a video on escaping the cult of bodybuilding. But now it's like I have a more of an Alan Watts approach, and this is why a lot of it came from more research and just more maturity, where Alan Watts is like, well, it's better to have a life full of what you love doing, a short life full of what you love doing, than a long life spent in a miserable way. But those aren't the only two options, but it's more of that approach, like, because I'd done an interview with Mr. Nature, and he kind of grounded me on this. I was like, well, what about all the poison food, Mr. Nature? And you can find this on Rumble, or my main channel when it's back up. And I was saying with his missus, Miss Sunshine, and they were like, well, yeah, you are right, like the food is polluted and it's not good for your health, but it doesn't actually existentially matter, and it's not that deep. Because I'm out here going, Halloween is evil, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful experience for children to go out and collect buckets of poison off the street. But yeah, like the food is fucked, right? And like ultimately, I think if we all want to build, like, this is the thing, everyone wants their children to be successful, right? But then they don't care about health. Like, health is success, no? Like, you can do what you want. It's like, yeah, but if you could fuck up your health, then I can also just disappear into metaphysical Lula land. I'll make a more thorough video about this in the future. My good friend, I grew up with him through secondary school, since I was like probably 13 years old until a few months back. He got really into the spiritual shit, full blast. When I met him, he wasn't really about it. And don't take this with like, take everything I'm saying with loads of grains of salt, because it's very nuanced, and I'm going to make a more in-depth video about it. But he got really into all the spiritual shit. He went down his own rabbit hole of like the Kabbalion, which I researched after his death. That's right, so he took a 3.5 of magic mushrooms one night, and he committed suicide in a rather brutal manner. Because I believe of what we think we've concluded is of some spiritual motive. The same way as members of Actualized.org have committed suicide. And spirituality is very fucking like, you think it looks cool from the outside, seeing videos about it and that, yeah, it is, but when you're in the thick of it, you don't get it. Like you can't go back, literally. It's like you pass the event horizon of the black hole, you pass this threshold, and your reality is changed forever. It's like, you question everything so deeply, you observe so deeply, and you unwire and question like how your mind works and what reality is, and you have mystical experiences on psychedelics. You're doing breath work like what I'm doing now, meditation, yoga, changing your diet, questioning the fundamentals. Like, when you do that enough, you unwire like the fucking anti-jailbreaking software. Like, you come into this world knowing fuck all, really, and then over time you can interconnect all the dots so thoroughly that you really start to lose a grip, and you can really back yourself into a corner, a metaphysical corner, where, like, recently I've been going through some like depressive episodes type of shit, like literal energy shifts, like how I'm perceiving everything, the energy in my body, the pendulum swinging full blast. Am I depressed? Am I manic? Am I spiritual? So ultimately, what I'm saying is, did I lose my mind? Yes, I did. So there's big potential for delusion with psychedelia and spirituality, 100%. Don't just think you've just burst into this realm and now you know everything and now no one else knows fuck all. Like, because like, you break in and you learn about meditation, psychedelics, food, diet, awakening and shit like that, and no one knows about it. Therefore, they don't understand and you understand. Therefore, you're awake and they're crazy. It's not as black and white as that. It's much more nuanced. And that's what I'm saying. Like, So it is difficult. I'm going to leave another video below, our 4 videos in total. I have Leo Gura and Connor Murphy on the phone talking about spiritual psychosis and psychedelic abuse. Next video will be actualize.org, aka Leo Gura, on the dangers of misapplying spiritual work. Another video of the same nature by Leo as well, the dangers of spiritual work, and a clip that was taken out of them videos about Leo's view on suicide. So names that are relevant, we have Alan Watts, Connor Murphy, actualize.org, Mr. Traumatic, Ramdas. But it's, I don't know if anyone else exists, or it's like full blast solipsism. I don't think it matters ultimately. And I don't want to say this obviously because I'm talking about my friend who killed himself, so just please take this with many grains of salt. It's not, we were both victims to, I don't know what to call it, and I don't know if spiritual psychosis exists, but look, there's ultimately, fundamentally, you can't disagree, everyone has the right to end their life. I'm not saying it's right, but what you got to understand is when you get really deep into this metaphysical landscape, like the nature of reality, like, I'm not joking, it's like everyday full blast, you can't escape. What happened to my friend, I'll tell you in short, I don't want to go into details just out of respect, maybe a bit more in the future, but we'll see, is he had like some awakening. He wasn't doing psychedelics that much, he was doing a lot of breath work, he sorted his diet out, he was very good on the physical, which was, before he died, he told me that I've mastered the mind, which I don't know about that, but he said I need to master the physical, and that's where the gold mine lies. And he was in a perpetual state of, like, vibrational fear for 2 weeks. Again, what I'm saying here, energy shifts, this is what I was having. Awakening, if you want to fucking victimize, like, I'm just saying, I don't want people to think that I'm, and I'll make a more thorough video about it in the future. I just would like, but people be like, I'm just on about his family and that, because they're going to be looking for someone to blame. And I don't even want to talk about this right now, because I'm not prepared to, so just hold your fucking horses, please. Like, it's not like I was advocating this, but again, I certainly would never advocate that. I had no idea he was going to take his life, no way. And that's what I mean, it's like, actualize.org has like a metaphor. There's like a movie of like a James Bond movie, is that what he's called? I don't know. Gen Z. He's playing this game basically with an opponent, and the game has a nuance where you get an electric shock every time you fuck up, so it makes it more, the stakes are higher. And James Bond, or whatever the fuck, was fucking up so thoroughly that just at the last minute before he was going to die, he let go of the controls. And Leo says there's a wisdom in that, where the spirituality gets to a point where it's like, yeah, these are ideas of solipsism and like the self being the only one, and maybe everyone else is just like created in the mind of God. Again, with the Kabbalion, Joss was researching. Check out the Kabbalion audiobook. Oh fuck, I don't want to say his name. Oh well. Just be careful looking for some, like, most people I see walk around with a lot of trauma. We don't understand how deep it goes. But yeah, it's like you let go of the controls of spirituality potentially when it gets too deep. Like, you don't want to keep fucking going full blast when it's hurting the people around you. Like, I got kicked out 3 times and I completely destroyed the relationship with my dad. Well, I mean, I say that, it's back in fruition now, like it's better now, but he didn't understand the mushrooms. And like I said, I thought it was simply, I'm awake and they're asleep. Like, I saw a comment on Mr. Traumatic's, one of his songs. This guy said, I awoke yesterday, and now I know everything. And that is constant growth, constant reevaluate, like, just what, like, even Traumatic has a lyric. When you think you've seen it all, there's more to see. I just want to open up the door and leave. We're surrounded and we're trapped, it's a fact. It's impossible to break through these magnetic vortices. So I'll be talking to you, Avoid Me. the power's in control. They want to talk to me, but I don't think they want to talk. They want to torture me, but I'm protected by the gods. That's how it's ought to be. Question everything, all the possibilities, alternate realities and probabilities. There's hidden messages inside this conscious imagery to help you all remember and regain your lost abilities. So yeah, in short, I'm going to be taking a much more grounded approach to spirituality. I want to live the dream. I want to honour the, I want to work more with society, somewhat, where I want to be, I don't want to reject being a cog in a machine, where there's a way to things, the Tao, you know, the book of the way, the Tao Te Ching, and I want to be a part of that. I don't want to just, I don't want to be full Conor Murphy mode anymore. I want to honour, and I want to build a good life, you know, like Hamza's stick is like a personal development YouTuber. He's got really masculine, really fit. He's retired his family. I really want to retire my family. And I understand now a lot. People think I'm selfish. But when I was really contemplating what my values are, a lot is I want the best for everyone else. So I want to honour this dream, and I want to build the most personally developed dream. I don't want to just disappear into metaphysical shit where nothing matters and I could just fly away. That is the truth. Reality is like, there's no point really ultimately other than to do it itself. And again, I would never advocate it, but existentially I don't think it matters if you kill yourself, but I don't think you're supposed to. And why would I? This is such a gift. This is what I've been realising, is life is just such a gift. And the more I unwire my neuroses, but in seek of good and positivity, shit just gets better. And that's what I want. I want prosperity and health. I don't want to disappear up my own ass and be super awakened and make everyone around me worry about me. I want to be grounded. So Psychedelic Actualization has a reel on his Instagram. Well, I've done a podcast with him. Again, you can find it on rumble.com. And yeah, I don't want to just go super crazy mode, because I thought Conor Murphy was admirable. But I've matured now, and I went through that full blast. I didn't I didn't give everything away willingly, but I did lose my ground on reality completely. For over a year, obviously you get paid, if you're a wage slave, you get paid at the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, for over a year, for 14 months, at the end of the month, I had no money. And this only began when I started to abuse psychedelics. So I thought I was awake, and I was to an extent, but it's more like, I don't want to lose my ground. I want a stable job. I've had 8 jobs since I lost the plot. And I didn't really lose the plot. I agree with most of what I said, but I've matured and I've got a more nuanced perspective. Anyway, I'm going to do this fucking breath work now, so enjoy your life. I don't know what the point in spirituality is if you're not to enjoy your life. That's kind of the point. It's what Leo says again. It's not to awaken and then to kill yourself. Awaken to learn how to enjoy the dream more consciously. That's my message. Be careful. Spirituality is not a joke. It's a lot deeper than you originally anticipate. And yeah. Alright, that's it. Sound as fuck. OXSN, rumble.com/lowercase user/uppercase OXSN, and my main YouTube channel will be back in action. I might actually have a new YouTube channel in the future. I'm going to take down a lot of my old content. I'll leave it on Rumble. That's what I'll do. I'll leave my shit on Rumble, my psychosis shit on Rumble. But in March, when my strikes are removed off my channel, I will I'm going to remove a lot of the crazy content, and I'm going to keep up the good videos, and then I'm going to mature. Alright, I love you, thank you for watching. Truth till I die, OXSN out.